When are we gonna go live?
I think
When are we gonna go live?
I think it says live.
It says we're live, so we're live. Don't hit the buttons. I'm Craig Goldberg. This is Lin Fisher, and welcome to Tuesday Night Live with Craig and Lin. And it's Tuesday. What do we do on Tuesday? We got lots of updates. I got a bunch to share. We got new stuff, the newness that we're going to talk about tonight. Ooh. Now's the time where you want to take a moment to share the feed. You want to make sure that you just let your friends know that, hey, this is something that you might want to hear about. I think you should check it out. Feed on Facebook comes up first. Feed on YouTube comes up a little delayed. But now's a great time and a great opportunity for you to scroll through, find the feed, and go, we're live. So please take a moment, share the feed, and give us a little like, hit that little bell thing at the bottom, maybe subscribe to this channel, whatever it might be. If you're watching the recording or if you're here live, we got some great information that we want to share with you. As always, I go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we talk about what's happening here at inHarmony Interactive. We talk about everything that has to do with vibroacoustics, sound, light, frequency, meditation, mindfulness. And I sure am glad that you are here to check out what we've got to talk about today. So I'm very honored because I get to share the screen with somebody that we go back like 8-9 years.
About that, yeah.
It's like the most epic of epicness.
We got history.
There's history
There's
there.
history. Good
And
history.
It feels so good. We're going to talk about that in a second. First, many of you are probably asking what's going on with manufacturing and production. I know it's something that a lot of people look at here, particularly on Tuesday for an update as what the latest and greatest is. So we have our first container is on the ocean, on the water. It is set to come into Long Beach Port on or before January 25th. Ladies and gentlemen, that's like 6 days away. Many of you know how long this has been waiting for our meditation cushions. Unfortunately, they might sit on the dock for up to 2 weeks as customs gets to inspect what we've got going on. Then it gets released. Then it goes to our warehouse, and then we get to ship and deliver to each and every one of you. There's close to 400 of you that are waiting for your cushions to arrive. And believe you me, we are waiting to ship them. So that's really close. Our second container is already scheduled for pickup and delivery. I believe it arrives on the 10th of February. So by that container, we'll be able to ship everything and everyone that's outstanding. So I know it's been a waiting game, and I know we're super close, and I appreciate you. For those of you that are interested in our other products, we have 22 sound lounges arriving later this week. We have 8 practitioners arriving later this week. Our warehouses are soon to be overflowing, and that means that if you're watching this going, what do these guys do and what are they up to? You might want to take some of our technology home. This week and next week, you're going to see a few different lives pop up of some additions to our website and some new information that we're getting out there, some new science, some new research, and of course, these collaborations, which I have been hinting to for probably the last, I want to say we've been working on this well, you've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but you've been working on this for a lot longer.
We've been working. There's a lot of work going on. Exactly. Everybody, there's a lot happening. Anyhow, let me do this. I want to introduce you all to the very spectacular Lin Fisher. We do have a lifelong friendship and brotherhood that has been breeding. And one of the things that I really love about Lin, one of the things I really love about you, is his grasp of the metaphysical, his grasp of what happens in this world, consciousness. He and I have had some very interesting conversations, and we're not going to dive down any of those rabbit holes today. But we have, I think, really grasped a lot of what's happening in this mind and spirit, and it's a big piece of what we do at inHarmony Interactive. We don't talk about it very often. However, exploring consciousness, reaching deeper states or higher states of consciousness is very much in alignment with what we do and how we do it. And one of the things that I really enjoy about Lin is his visionary mind, his strategic outlook on the future and what could be. And one of the things that I really love about traveling all over the place with Lin is that we sit down in these calm and relaxed environments and we just talk about what could be. And we basically manifested this relationship over the last, I guess, year or so that we've been having these conversations. Mm-hmm. And then Lin just said, you know what? I've got this relationship with Dr. Patrick Porter and BrainTap. I've got this relationship with Craig over at inHarmony Interactive. And I'm just going to bring everything together and start doing it. And I'm going to call it the Cocoon Experience. And anyhow, I've been talking a lot. I want you to hear from Lin. I want you to hear a little bit of his story and how this kind of came to be. Lin is part and parcel of what we're doing here at inHarmony Interactive. It's kind of like a debut. It's like a coming out party in a way. And Lin's going to be around a lot, helping and supporting what we're doing internally, externally, strategic partnerships. You got something really interesting on the horizon, which we're not going to talk about, but I just kind of teased you a little bit on, which I think is awesome. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Lin Fisher.
Thank you, Craig Goldberg.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you, man. Those are kind words. I love you, man. You inspire me, as I know you inspire a lot of people that watch you. And I want to thank you for having me on, because I've watched this many times. You do your thing and you do you. And and at the heart of this community is you. So hats off, brother.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, there we go.
I appreciate you.
So and I guess just a little bit about my background, just so you have an idea as to my journey getting here, which has been pretty amazing for me. Which started out a serial entrepreneur. Started a computer company when I was 18. Made my way into Fortune 500 kind of high profile consulting. And then from there, created a partnership with Tony Robbins and what became his chief strategy officer for this company that we were doing a JV on. That's important only because he changed my life. And I eventually left, went on a global tour to find myself, and came back re-energized and recharged and looking for the things that actually make me, on fire. And part of that journey was, finding out these different modalities for health, wellness, just living a better life with more vibrancy. And one of the things I learned from Tony was that, energy equals, life. And, the more energy you have, the more life you have, because the more you can take on, not only take it on, but take it on with, it's like going uphill in a car that has a really weak engine. You're going to get up the hill, but not that fun. So I became very engrossed in all these different modalities and alternative healing medicines. And I've done a lot of plant medicine, spent a lot of time with grandmother, and have had a very deep ceremonial background to my journey. And that translates into what we're doing with the Cocoon Experience, which I'll share a little bit more in a minute. But we're really working to take a ceremonial approach to the experience that everyone's having. And especially with this combination between BrainTap and inHarmony, we find ourselves really placing people in an incredible space that few have been consistently and so easily, because what this is, and what inHarmony does on its own, as well as BrainTap on its own, is gives you a biohack into deeper meditative states. And we all want that. That's where the good stuff is. So along my consulting path, I was introduced to BrainTap and Dr. Patrick Porter, who's now I can say is a good friend and a comrade. And
He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is awesome.
Really is awesome.
He's such a G. You guys got to hear his story. There's a lot about him that you hopefully you'll find out more about him along the way. But at any rate, he hired me with some other folks to basically re-engineer and pivot BrainTap into a more millennialized brand, which was great because they had some great ideas that they needed help in bringing forth. And short story long, we created a great relationship, and I completed my work with them. And I just became a huge fan because they gifted me a couple of headsets, and I started using it pretty regularly, and I was just really impressed with what it did. And I got to say, Craig, before that, you actually gave me a lot of time on in the beds, right? Oh, yeah. And I've known about them, and I've always wanted one. Yeah. And just, I guess, in just 8-9 months ago, I actually had a chance. Yeah, I bought one.
Well, I've been shooting. You've actually seen lives that I did at Science from the Sample in LA. That was his house, in this beautiful space that they had curated and hosted ceremonies and sound healings. And he had a stage in his living room.
Mm-hmm.
you're dedicated to your craft and you're dedicated to what we do if you have a stage in your living room.
Well, I'm such a huge fan of frequency. I kind of call myself a frequenaut. And you're a frequenaut. Frequency is really the answer to so many things. And I think a lot of people that are watching this are interested in frequency. If you didn't realize that that's really what you're interested in, that's what you're interested in, because that's what really does the magic. And it organizes our body and our consciousness in a way that allows us to biohack and access, our parts of our consciousness that are sometimes difficult to pierce through the third dimension chaos and frenetic energy that we attach to ourselves or allow to be attached to ourselves. So as an example, coming home, people are stressed from the day. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people, we all do so many different things to get rid of that. And that includes self-medication, includes tons of different things. But, if we were able to shed all that and come home clean and nice, clean energy, relaxed, chill, that's like the nirvana. So
I said this for a long time, right? When I first started, Lin's been watching this journey over the last 4 years of me traveling everywhere with the sound lounge and taking it out and setting it up and running demos and letting it run in random places and putting people on and off it. And then Lin was doing the same thing. Once he got his, he was literally the back of his car. He literally would set it up all over the place. It was really epic, which often happens when you love the tech. I always said, I wish more people, instead of going home and sitting in front of the television for an hour after a long day or 2 hours or 3 hours, that they would go and get on their sound lounge, rejuvenate, relax, strengthen, and really
let go.
Yeah.
Let go is the biggest one, I think.
And just turn it off, right? Yeah, it's one of the things you love getting in front of the television. I'm 41 years old, and for 41 years, I've been sitting in front of the television, zoning out, when now I get on my sound lounge and rejuvenate and release. It's really powerful.
Yeah. And so this whole, notion of being able to release your nervous system's excess energy that's not your own, is really a liberating experience. And the, the inHarmony line of products really do an amazing job, because it's just envelops you in this great warm fuzzy sense of like fuzzy, frequency, which I dig. But no buts, actually. And at one point I decided BrainTap needs to happen with the bed. And I started experimenting with it. And I know I'm not the first guy to do this, but I think I was maybe the first guy to get so amped about it that I just basically drove all over Southern California, up and down to all my friends. And, before, COVID, I was able to actually give people a lot of exposure to this modality. And I started finding that the results were amplified like dramatically. How fast people dropped in, the depth of how far they dropped in, and their experiences literally many times brought some people to points of tears, and not tears of sadness, tears of release, purging tears. And sometimes tears of sadness because that person had to confront that moment
and release it.
And that's why it's ceremonial. So I started realizing that this needs to be treated with a lot of respect. And it's not just a modality that is a good therapy or a good service. I mean, it's an amazing service that you can give, but I'm finding that it's incredible for as an additive to really grounded, strong therapy, whether it's psychiatric and or just counseling, that it really can anchor beautiful things and release things that that people don't want. So, it became something that I realized was very powerful. I shared it with Craig, of course, and talked to Patrick about it. And the thing that I came to realize was that I had like 5 months of doing this with just like kind of playing DJ for a second and choosing a track from BrainTap and then finding something that works really well underneath for the vibe acoustics and harmonizing that a little bit. And I found a few things that just lifted people like that. And it was, and then I realized myself, I was like, wait a second, we have to get content to integrate these two things. So we have synchronized light, music, and frequency. And so, so that's a good segue to kind of explain what this is.
Yeah.
Is that a good segue?
Yeah. And that's the magic of what Lin did is to say, look, and we had many conversations where Lin was like, we need content, we need this, we got to create this, we got to do that. And we're launching our app and we're starting to pull together our music and we're starting to do all these different things. And there was just so much that was bustling around. And I tell you how hectic and beautiful and amazing the last 4 months have been. This is one of the crux of one of the things that we've been working on that I really couldn't talk about because it wasn't really ready. And now it's ready, of course. So, yeah, what is it, Lin?
Yeah. So I think all of you are familiar with what BrainTap is. I'm sorry, with what inHarmony is and what the vibroacoustic technologies can do.
I can share a screen here.
If you'd like, go for it.
I think
but then we don't get to see your pretty face.
That's true. Actually, we can watch this.
Can we split screen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We could do some stuff.
Production City. I love it.
Pretty awesome.
So while Craig is fumbling around in his production moment, the BrainTap is synchronized light and sound, and it uses blue light strobe LEDs in the eyes. And by the way, this is a closed eye thing, right? So it's kind of like looking at the sun with your eyes closed. These LEDs are actually proven independent technology from the last 12 years or so. It's called blue light strobe therapy. And what it's known to do is actually reduce neural plaque. If you don't brush your brain, you get neural plaque.
Brush your brain, man. Brush your brain.
I've been working, I don't have a long enough toothbrush. So brain brush. So basically, the idea of this blue light strobe is, in reducing neural plaque, is to, if you don't use it, you lose it. And also if your diet doesn't lend itself too well to some of these things, you can actually create a calcification between the nodes and between the synapses, which means that you're not firing all cylinders, right? So what's great about BrainTap is it actually can, and this actually works for people that have Alzheimer's. And I've got proven firsthand knowledge of working with some folks that have neurological challenges like this. And BrainTap was created. The headset was created 16, 17 years ago.
Right. So we're talking about 16, 17 years of
proven doctor technology,
of documented technology with not only anecdotal research, but HRV technology that you work with that we're going to introduce into what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Brainwave testing through EEG. A variety of different testing has verified and validated what BrainTap has been doing for the last 16, 17 years. Talking to Dr. Patrick, and we'll of course have AKA Dr. Positive on here soon enough. Patrick, hopefully if you're watching, we love you, we appreciate you, and very much looking forward to having the three of us, hopefully in person again. We got together in San Antonio a few months ago, hopefully together again, and really talking to them about percentages and increases and the numbers that really validate what they've been doing for as long as they've been doing it is really spectacular. And combining the two amplifies both modalities to create a more powerful third.
Yeah, for sure. Just to touch on the HRV thing, and then I'll finish off with kind of how these things work when we combine them. The HRV is, heart rate variability monitor, which is able to offer insights into the energy body. And what that allows us to do is to isolate certain things that are functioning well in certain energetic fields and frequencies, right? So if you're ever had acupuncture or you are an acupuncturist, then you would your natural ability to find the line at which you need to place the meridian lines at which you need to place the pins is due into your training. But this actually gives you validation, numerical validation, also in like a dashboard almost.
It's really incredible.
So yeah, so now we're able to actually measure, track, and give people an understanding as to how they look in the moment and track that over time. But the EEGs that were done with BrainTap, when you don't have to know how to spell meditation to actually go in a deep theta brainwave state, like a master, meditationist. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I like conjugating.
I know exactly what you said.
Meditationists.
Yeah, and meant.
I can do it in plural too.
I've watched him do it in real time.
I'm not going to.
It's remarkable.
So when we take the EEG of the yogi,
the meditationist,
the meditationists, And and we look at the person with the BrainTap. They're exactly the same brainwave pattern, which is where the metric lies to understand how deep, how relaxed, how in that brainwave state are you. And when we can hold you in that state, Craig, and BrainTap does, we're able to create the empty awareness that we all seek in meditation. And actually, we're working to gain empty awareness by trying to cut off thoughts of like the day, lists, expectations, all this mess, all about our egoic structure, our identity that puts out into the third dimension. But here is actually a space where there's a space created between your true self and the world, and it's automatic, it's involuntary, it's essentially just a willingness to participate.
The brain wants to participate.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what's amazing. Many of you found inHarmony Interactive through all of the social media marketing that we've been doing, and all of the ads that we've been running, and the posts that we've been making, and we're eternally grateful. Thank you, Lenore, for that shout out. One of the claims that we make about inHarmony Interactive, and this isn't even talking about BrainTap, is to reach deeper meditative states faster. It's using these types of measuring sticks, if you will, these types of metrics through HRV, through EEG, that we're able to actually see what our technology is doing, what impact it's having on the brain, and of course, how that compares to the boatloads of data that are out there specifically about meditators and these gurus and meditationists, as we've coined. I don't even know if that's a word. I love it. It's amazing. And Susan, you're right. The brain wants what the brain wants. And we are so excited for that cushion. But the brain voluntarily, it's really interesting. Hop on to iaminharmony.com, hop onto our website, and take a look and read through the page specifically built for, here's our website. Underneath Shop tab, look for the Cocoon Experience and read through what Lynn and myself have put together about what's actually happening. The brain willingly participates in the entrainment of the lights, and for it to be perfectly harmonized with the sound and the music, that's the part that has really been remarkable. That's
been the tipping point, and you're exactly correct. So when all three of these modalities come into synchronization and come into play in a seamless, elegantly delivered, round of music, a song, then the synchronization happens between the lights flashing, and also BrainTap has LEDs in the ears because our nervous system is very close to the subcutaneous. And
words.
Yeah, just words, great words. So, but what we're doing is we're informing the nervous system of something that it can pick up on, and when we change that, the brain goes, "Hey, what's that?" And then we use binaural beats, 10-cycle holographic music,
isochronic tones,
and so all of these audible dynamics, or audible, I should say, modalities, help create this brain entrainment. And when you combine that with the flashing in the eyes, which goes directly into your visual cortex, and you get it in the ears and the audible canal, then the icing on the cake, and this is really the icing on the cake, is the enveloping vibration of inHarmony's products. Because when that was the game changer, because BrainTap is amazing to take you into that space, but when we add that element, it just became full body, out of body, and very, very easy to slip right into that deep state. And here's the one thing I'd like to say about that, just real quick, if I may.
Take your time.
Great. The nature of meditation that we're all been working towards, at least I have for a long time, and I've been meditating for like 4 or 5 years now, is to gain this empty awareness state, the state of not thinking about the world, but being in a state where my awareness is clean and I'm mindful, but not overwhelmed with thought. And that's a plate. If you can imagine a plate, that's a plate that we're trying to spin. And at a certain point, you forget that you're spinning the plate and you find this empty awareness. When I find that empty awareness, it's usually like 3/4 of the way into my meditation when I'm really in. And that's if I'm consistently lucky. Not lucky. I mean, it's a skill and you have to put time into it. But the point is that
it takes effort to get there.
It takes practice, man.
Yes.
And people get discouraged and people are like, am I doing this right? Is this the way it's supposed to feel? What am I seeing right now? All these things. So meditation masters will tell you that once you're able to spin the plate without knowing you're spinning the plate and you're there, then what? Is it just to soak in the blissfulness of emptiness and empty thought? Yes. But
You've arrived.
But what's next?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next is the work.
Yeah.
And this is what's great about BrainTap and the Cocoon Experience is that you're able to actually go to that next stage to do some really incredible energy work and beautiful manifestation work. It's a place where you can actually let yourself start to think and actually go into creation mode, go into sending out love mode. You're in the perfect brainwave state and place to give and to get energy. And so this is where the work can actually start to happen. Healing happens, strategy happens,
rejuvenation,
all the beautiful things. So whatever your intention is at that point that you're in, a lot of people are just there and just like, oh, look at this, look at that. I never thought about this person in 20 years. But if my practice and that I'm learning myself and that I'm trying to share with people is to take that next step, go in with a level set of intention. Once you're in, know that it's time to do work. And that work is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels really good when you're in that space and you've created that container. To do that work, it's not work.
Right.
Right. It's like the only thing that I can really, it's like doing something that you love. It doesn't feel like work. You just do it. It's like, for me, it's when I'm hitting that task list, because I like doing that stuff. I love what I do with inHarmony Interactive. I love building and creating. And I love being in that mindset of creation and strategy and pulling the pieces together. And it's like when I put together that task list, that first thing that's the hardest thing that I want to knock out first. And you just cruise through it. Take some time, but you just cruise through it like a hot knife through butter. And it's really creating that container and getting to that place so that you can do that work.
I want to talk about something that we all want to talk about.
Well, let's do it.
Flow.
I like
flow state.
I love flow.
Flow state. Okay, so I have a fortunate. I've had fortunate opportunities to work with world-class athletes and professionals who are taking anything they can take legally for the edge.
Of course.
And the greatest edge is the game within the game. Flow state is everybody's like, okay, Michael Jordan's in the zone. Okay, what does that really mean? Well, if I can break this down quickly, it means to me that someone is flowing through their field with a sixth sense that is not focused on what we would all be focusing on. Like in Michael Jordan's example, dribbling, moving past somebody. He's feeling everything ahead of it happening and manifesting the other half. And so flow state is, can you be in the most tired, most drained state of physical, conditioning or physical condition and still get into that brainwave state and find it, just like you said, just find that state and operate beyond yourself.
That's training.
That's training.
That's practice.
But this is what I'm saying. When you start to find that state and you keep consistently finding it and you feel what it feels like as soon as it hops over and you drop in, that's the feeling that you start to try to learn to create on your own. And that's when you're able to, in a chaotic situation, like I'll give you an example. If I'm up in a club,
used to be pre-COVID.
Yeah. I'm up in the club up here now.
Yeah.
Rave in place, people. Rave in place. So usually if something funky breaks out, I'm watching not all the mass hysteria. I'm looking for the most calm dude in the center of that. And that's the dude you don't want to mess with or that you want to watch because he's going to be interesting. Right. Because he's calm. Totally. Like all this, your field goes chaotic. But if you can stay focused and deliver yourself, which is calm you, not crazy ego, help me, I need ego right now.
You can be the most successful in that environment.
Yeah. And so when you're competing at the top levels with everything, all the highest stakes, can you find your state?
You want to
be there. Can you find your flow state?
that's what I love about the combination of these two technologies is the brain's voluntary participation in going there teaches you how to go there. I talk to people all the time when we have this technology out. I have trouble sleeping. I have trouble concentrating. I have trouble with these, whatever, insert issue here. And the reality is at the center of all of that is us, is our brain, is our body, is our existence, our thoughts, our consciousness. And what I love about these modalities is we have all of these competing notifications, bells, chimes,
Competing for our attention.
competing for our attention.
Right.
And our ability to go in is often predicated on practicing going in and teaching the brain and the mind and the body how to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about these technologies combined, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited that Patrick was able to program the alpha, theta, and delta brainwave training into our music. And this tip of the iceberg, for those of you that don't have our app yet, inside the inHarmony app, you will find so far, I think we're around 30 tracks on our way to 90.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, obviously, to program these tracks. So we're getting there.
Thank you, Dr. Porter.
Thank you, Dr. Patrick Porter. Indeed. And then eventually the BrainTap world is going to be introduced to our music as well in similar fashion, and actually a broader scope as we donate our music to the rest of the BrainTap community so that they can really enjoy and drop into the solfeggio frequencies that we've created. We're at 30 minutes. So we gotta, it was fast. I told you it goes fast.
I just got here.
I was just getting warmed up.
Does that mean I got to come back next Tuesday?
You just come back over and over and over. All right. So look, Lin is here in Las Vegas. We work together just about every day. And there are going to be many, many, many more of these. We might just pop on at random. So again, hit that little bell, the chime, the bell, the gong, whatever it might be down there. It should be a gong.
It should be a gong. Can I just say one thing?
Anything.
Okay. Thank you for your time and attention. Really appreciate it. Super excited to be part of this next chapter with inHarmony Interactive and to bring the Cocoon Experience to you all. If you have any of the vibroacoustic products, add a headset and watch your investment and your experiences go berserk. And I would be happy to speak with any of you and all of you directly. Reach out to Craig or send a text, and you can find me, Lin Fisher, at mac.com. And wait, you need to give me an email
We're going to get you an email address.
See that?
Yeah. You're coming on board. We're doing it.
If you can't get them to do what you need them to do, just join their company.
That's it.
Do it yourself.
Just dedicate the time and the energy towards it. And our team is growing because our business is growing, because our audience is growing, because all the things we're growing. So look, you can pick up the BrainTap headset on iaminharmony.com. On our website, we have the BrainTap headset. If you do want to get in touch with Lin, you can email me and I'll put you in touch with Lin. I'd be very happy to do that. My email address is right there. And of course, hop over to our website. If you are interested in the full Cocoon experience, that can be found on our website as well. It includes each system, the meditation cushion, the practitioner, or the sound lounge, along with a headset. And we're unifying and creating this experience, and I'm super excited to dive into it deeper. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next Tuesday, if not before.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.